Being the holder of a 1000X, that's a big deal. That's something that everybody in this space is looking for. We're always looking for that next. Do you have the patience to win at one of those 1000X tokens? And the reason I bring that up is because we see a lot of tokens that end up with 1000X runs that people end up selling off. And then we hear the stories. We hear the SHIB stories about people who say, oh man, I sold it like a 10X and I got out, and I sold it a 50X. I should have held on when it went 13,000X. Tale as old as time. These guys have always been doing it. They continue to do it. It's the nature of it. And the question is, can you be around for a 1000X? Well, I have one that I think is going to be a 1000X. I think it's a simple 1000X. In fact, at this point, and it's because of everything that goes on in the community and in the space that we call cryptocurrency, that it's inevitable. It's definitely going to happen. And I'm talking about BenCoin. Ben Armstrong, chairman of BenCoin, is a guy who moves that needle. If you know what that means, then you understand. It doesn't matter if you love Ben Armstrong. It doesn't matter if you hate Ben Armstrong. It matters that you have an opinion about Ben Armstrong. And it doesn't matter whether that opinion is positive, nor does it matter whether that opinion is negative. There are going to be plenty of positives. There's going to be plenty of positive people who have a great impression of Ben Armstrong. There's going to be a plenty of people, by the way, who don't have an impression. That's all engagement. And that's the art of cryptocurrency that people today are not understanding. And when I say that, what I mean is, it's very simple, guys. If you just hold on to BenCoin for a little while and you just recognize the signs and the symbols, and not the made up signs and symbols from the Chads who are not ever going to make it, who are looking for their next pump and dump to get wrecked on. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about for the people that have been in this space for a period of time that understand how this stuff works. They will tell you, I like Ben Armstrong and I think this is going to do well. Or I don't like Ben Armstrong and I can't stand the guy, but yeah, this thing is gonna moon. Now, why would they be saying that? Why would people say stuff like that? And the answer is very, very simple: because Ben moves the needle. Now, if that's the case, and it's reasonable to expect that a $7 million project could do a 1000X and go from 7 million to 70 million to 700 million to 7 billion or 1000X. How easy is that? That's the four horsemen of the apocalypse. That's Ben, AJ, J-Chains, and are you a true believer? You never know. But we're going to look in on this. We're going to find out whether or not this is the thing for us. And look, let me tell you already, I am sponsored by BenCoin. I am a holder of BenCoin. I've been a long-term holder of BenCoin. I have a belief in BenCoin. And I think that there's going to be a gigantic future in BenCoin, which is why I'm here. So if you are as well, make sure you leave a comment in the description down below. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing this every day. We're going to be talking about BenCoin because I think that as this develops and as this builds, we're going to have a fantastic time. Now, why am I so bullish on it? Well, it started right here. First of all, I will say we are working right now on the history of BenCoin, probably going to come out pretty soon. But as you can see right here, this weekend, Ben, Cassie, J-Chains, and AJ were at the Influencers Award and the Influencer Fight Club in Las Vegas. And they decided on the spur of the moment, should we get a tattoo of BenCoin? And what happens? They get a tattoo of BenCoin. Well, now, you know, guys, this is one of the things that if you're BenCoin and if you're not, it doesn't matter. They own it. This is something now. This is written, bonded in blood, if you will, on their bodies right now. So they're going to have to moon this thing. They're going to have to make something big happen because that's just the nature of it. Now, I don't mean that they didn't have any option to begin with, because this is their project and this is a passion. This is a passion that Ben had. I spoke to Ben this weekend and I spoke to Cassie this weekend, and the passion and the amount of enthusiasm that Ben has right now for BenCoin leads me to believe or reinforce the opinion that I already had, that we're definitely headed to a very big run. Now, is it 1000X? I don't know. Could be more. Could it be less? Nah. Look, and the reason I say that, and I want to make this very simple for you when I do this before we get into the chart, is this is the 15th ranked token right now at 7 billion. That's Toncoin. And then right below that is Shiba Inu at 6 billion. So do you mean to tell me that we couldn't get up to somewhere in the neighborhood of where SHIB is? and get a $7 billion market cap for a cryptocurrency token that is all about mass adoption? Well, the answer to that is obviously yes, it can, but that's not the issue. The issue is currently the market is only sitting at a 1.5 trillion market cap. At a 3 trillion market cap, we will have an altcoin season, and most of these tokens will have much more in capital in this space. You have to consider Bitcoin has a pretty high dominance right now at 52%, generally about 45 at the top of the market last time. So that allowed for a cascade of money to come down into these alts. These alts then sprang from that point. Now, if we just take a moment and consider that we're probably looking at a 4x in market cap at a minimum in this next bull run, up to a $6 trillion market cap at a minimum. Then we start looking down the road here and we look at things with about a $1 trillion market cap. There are plenty of them out here like Maker and Bonk and Helium and Quant and Arbitrum and Sats and Graph and Aave. Can we get into this sort of range when we are talking about mass adoption? The answer to that is a resounding yes. It looks like an easy road. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that it will be easy. It'll be hard, and it'll be fraught with dangers. It'll be fraught with people trying to FUD this project all the live long day. Do you know why? Because everybody has an opinion of Ben Armstrong. Nobody sits on the sidelines and says, Ben, whatever. They don't do that. They have an opinion of him. They love him or they hate him, and there's not really an in-between. So we're going to look at the chart real quick, and I'm telling you right now, it is my belief that this is the next 1,000x, or maybe not the next 1,000x. This will go to a 1,000x. If you have the time, if you have the patience, if you put your capital aside and you're holding on to this, and you, it is my opinion, will be rewarded immensely for your belief and your faith in Ben Armstrong, the Ben Armstrong crypto experience, Cassie Wolf, and everything that goes into this entire ecosystem. In fact, you'll probably end up seeing, before this is all said and done, some of the biggest influencers that Ben brought up. Let's remember, Ben brought up a lot of these guys, even the people who are now having really, really phenomenal runs. Tom Crown, made through the Ben Armstrong crypto experience, formerly called BitBoy Crypto. George, we're all George. We're not all George, but we are George. Aren't we? We could be, maybe. Who knows? Anyway, Wendy O, the list goes on, and even the ones who don't like him right now were made by him. And that should speak volumes to the number of people that at one point soon will be talking about Bencoin and onboarding. Can I tell you that George is going to be talking about it? Absolutely not. Wendy, absolutely not. Tom Crown, absolutely not. I can't tell you that these people will be talking about Bencoin, but I can tell you plan. And once there's a plan in place and Ben Armstrong starts to implement it, then the rest is almost academic at that point. So you tell me what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that Bencoin can do a 1,000x and get to a $7 billion market cap? I think that's pretty conservative. And I think that Ben has already said specifically he intends for this to be a top 15. A top 15 probably means about a 50 billion market cap. To me, that sounds way aggressive. All right, so let's check out the chart right here. And you can see I've already kind of laid it out for you what I think is going to happen. Now, to be fair here, there is a possibility because this is a flat bottom and we have this descending wedge. A descending wedge generally breaks to the downside because it represents lower sell pressure and a maintenance by the bulls. They will get tired. Bulls do get tired, just like anything else. So the likely break is to the downside, not far, by the way, but maybe to around the 8,000 level. But consider this, there's also the possibility of a break to the upside. Now, the break to the upside would look something like this. We would get a break and a retest up here at about 9,000. Then we get a move up above the 200 SMA, and then a retest of the 200 SMA around the 93, 9,000 level. Then a break to the upside to 9,800, a retest, and then on to 10,700. I don't think that's going to happen by tomorrow. So if it does happen by tomorrow, then we'll be talking about the breakout that we just had. But for right now, I think that it should be it should be enough that today I think that this is the path that we have. There is potential for downside, but the break to the upside is also going to be on the menu and on the table. And in the next couple of days, you're going to be seeing some stuff that's going to make you say, wow, Ben was right. There's going to be some things that you're going to start to see flowing into X, that are flowing into chat, that are just going to change a little bit of the dynamic, I think, about what you think about Bencoin. And when that happens, you're going to start to see entry points. So it's possible that we could see some kind of lift here. But I don't rely on the lift. I rely on the science of where this looks like it's going. The general break is to the downside, but there's a positive of that upside. Now, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, 3 p.m. today, we're going to be doing our first Bencoin Spaces. And if you haven't already, I will leave the description in the link below, and make sure that you are tuned in. And we're going to be talking Bencoin on Twitter Spaces, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So this is not financial advice. My name is Blaze. I'm always right. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.